I was up in the Tetons outside of Jackson Hole, which is where I live. Jeremy Jones had dropped in first. He made a couple turns, went up into this safe spot, and I made a couple turns basically right next to his, and the whole slope started moving. It basically cracked about 100 feet behind me. It was pretty slow motion at first, and I thought I might be able to maintain my speed and cut out of it. And the further I cut and the more I looked over my shoulder, the more I could see that it was just going further and further out to my side. And then basically the whole thing just goes into kind of like fast forward. And I remember when I knew that I wasn't getting out, which is a terrible feeling, I turned around to face the fall line and I watched an entire stand of trees just snap in front of me. I remember hearing Jeremy screaming, "Get out, get out, get out." And then I just got swallowed. I remember going over this cliff band. I didn't know I was going over the cliff band. I just knew that I was weightless. All of a sudden I was in the air. And then I remember just hitting down, and it just felt like, you know, at any given moment I was just gonna get crushed to death. I mean, that was the feeling. Consciously thinking, you know, wow, I always wondered how I was gonna die, and now I know. The fact that I wasn't ready to go yet came into my mind, and then it became a fight. That's when I could start really feeling things, you know, that weight again. And eventually I popped up and I looked around me, and as far as I could see on either side of me was just these huge blocks, and you just don't see an entire mountain moving. And then I looked down into the valley and I could see these teeny trees way down there, thousands of feet down there. And I was like, oh man, I'm going all the way. Right at that moment, same thing happened. I went over another cliff band, got buried, but I stayed like in that conscious fighting mode, went under deep, just holding on, you know, because you're sure that at any moment you're either gonna hit a rock or hit a tree or something, and it didn't happen. I remember banking this huge turn. You can feel like this whole mountain moving with you. Right before it stopped, I had this, like a current of snow underneath pushed me out, and right when it stopped, I popped out of the end of this debris pile. I heard this sound behind me, and I was like, I could barely turn my head around, and there was a secondary slide. It was like another 10-foot slide coming down. So at the last minute, I just braced. I was like, okay, here we go again, basically. And the thing pushed up against my neck and almost pushed my face into the snow and stopped. I kind of had like resigned myself at that point, and I didn't have much fight left, but then I sat there for a few minutes and I was like, okay, it's over, and I'm alive.